Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Breaking Shan podcast. I am Zishan Bakhtiar, and this is episode 7. Today, we have one of our important person of our school in the leadership position here with us today, and I will be interviewing them and get to know a little bit about their background because there are many principals, vice principals that have been a teacher before, and some either maybe get into the leadership. We'll find that out. And we're here with Mr. Fetter, so let's get started. Hello, Mr. Fetter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I have some questions down for you. I would like to get to know your background and what got you into this position, vice principal. And I've heard that you've been a math teacher before. So can you just introduce yourself and share how long you've been in education?
Sure. My education career is a long and complicated one. I started out at the MLK school, and I was a special ed teacher when I first started, but then that didn't last because my certification wasn't quite right, so they had to move me into second grade.
Okay.
So I went into second grade halfway through that first year. I taught second grade for 3 years there. Then I moved up to fifth grade at MLK. Then a friend of mine and I decided that we were going to take a shot at starting a charter school. There was a new charter school law in New Jersey that allowed basically anybody to start their own school. So we took a shot, we put in our application, and we got it. So I served as a vice principal at the charter school for 7 years. Okay. And then I came back to education. I actually left and decided I wanted to try something new besides education. I got a job as a construction manager.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, the economics of the time weren't good, so I ended up, the company I worked for folded. I was unemployed for about 6 months, and I said, you know what, I want to go back to education. So I went back as a third grade teacher at Texas Avenue.
Okay.
Then I became a sixth grade teacher at Texas Avenue, then an eighth grade math and algebra 1 teacher at Texas Avenue, which eventually led to where I am right now.
Wow, that's a lot of switches there.
Yep,
How was
yep.
the transition from each, like a low grade, like second grade, to all the way eighth grade, sixth grade?
Yeah, it wasn't, working with second graders is something that I don't know. Those people don't get paid enough because it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So I was always looking to move up to middle school. I liked fifth grade. Those kids were fun.
Yeah.
And then, eighth grade was probably my favorite. But then now that I'm at the high school, this is probably the place I should be.
Great. That's great. So, before you fully got into education, what inspired you to look towards that field?
Okay, so when I was in college, I would come home in early May, and then I was a lifeguard, which didn't start till mid-June. So somebody suggested, hey, you can become a substitute teacher because it's pretty much a day-to-day type thing. You go in when you want to.
Yeah.
So I did that just to kind of fill the time, make a little bit of money, and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I really like working with kids and, kind of making a difference there. And so it was never a plan of mine to become a teacher. And if you would have told me I would become a teacher when I was in high school, I would have laughed at you. But, it led to...
What was your first interest in high school? What did you see yourself doing?
Actually, I was a high school coach, football coach.
Okay.
I coached football here. I coached crew here.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 90s.
Okay.
And I always liked the high school age, but I didn't have the certification.
Yeah.
I always had plans to come up and teach algebra up here or physics or something like that. It just never worked out.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. So then you became a vice principal, you said, at
It was the Oceanside Charter School in Atlantic City.
Okay. So how did you get into that?
Like I said, my friend and I, we were, both fifth grade teachers, and she came up with the plan.
Yeah.
And ran it by me, and I said, you know what, that's a great idea. So we spent one summer, the entire summer, working on the application.
Wow.
And then we submitted it, and then
both of y'all submitted it?
Yeah, we submitted together.
Okay.
It was a group of us, but her and I were kind of the main ones.
Okay.
And she became the principal, and I was the vice principal.
Oh, wow.
And then in January of that year, it was 1999, we found out we got it. And then they basically say, here's a grant for $125,000 to get you started. Go.
Wow.
And so it was literally driving around Atlantic City trying to find a place to put a school. We went to the old Pleasantville High School, and any old furniture they said we could have, we backed a truck up and loaded up furniture. And it was, interviewing teachers in my house and her house.
In your house?
Oh, yeah, because we didn't have anywhere else to go. We didn't have an office or anything. So I'd invite them right to my house.
Wow.
And it was putting a school together was really interesting.
So before VP, you were a math teacher?
I taught 8th grade math and Algebra 1.
Okay. So what was it like from going from a math teacher to becoming a VP? Because now you're handling a big leadership there, and you don't have students. You don't get to communicate that, relation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I miss it. I really do. I miss working with students and teaching them and watching them be curious about what I'm teaching and watching them learn what I'm teaching and seeing the results of what I was doing. I miss that part of it, but I also really enjoy being here. So,
what's the biggest challenge from a math teacher to VP?
Biggest challenge for me was the amount of students that are here. I walked out in the hall the first day and I just could not believe what I was seeing because I was used to Texas Avenue. We were up on the 3rd floor and there were 75 kids.
Yeah.
And I saw them all day and that was basically it. And I walked out into that hall and I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? So that's been the biggest challenge, dealing with so many kids, because I see kids every day and I'm like, I've never seen this kid before. Where at Texas, I pretty much knew every kid,
Is there something that surprised you when you became a VP? I mean, you said, you saw students and stuff, but...
To be honest with you, there really have not been any surprises. This is kind of
you've
what
been a
I
VP
expected.
before.
And I knew going in that I had an idea in my head of what this was going to kind of be like.
Yeah.
And it pretty much was, nailed on the head. This is what it is. So.
Well, that's great.
It's kind of good not to be surprised.
You found your, your greatest career.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So how do you think your experience as a teacher helps you in your current role?
Well, as a teacher, you have to develop relationships with students as well as parents.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I do now, except on a larger scale. Instead of being in charge of 75 students and have to deal with the 75 sets of parents, I have to deal with over 400 students and 400 different parents. Although most of the kids who I deal with, kids from last names E through K.
Yeah.
Most of them I don't even know.
Yeah.
I only know.
I mean, if they're good kids, I guess you won't ever see them because they won't come up with disciplinary, problems.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you make relationships with students since you're not in the classroom anymore, but now you're over here?
Right. I'm out in the hallway. Whenever there's a transition, I like to be in the cafeteria and walk around and see the kids. I like to attend the different events, sporting events, or whatever kind of extracurricular activities there are, and just trying to talk to kids and getting to know them. Is
there something that motivates you to keep going, even on a hard day as a VP?
Yeah, I mean, it's a passion for education, and as long as I have it, I want to continue in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really make a difference, and I've seen that over the years. I've been in it so many years that a lot of the kids who I have taught in past years are now adults.
Yeah.
And they come back and they talk to you and they tell you about the difference that you made. And so that motivates me every day to keep making that difference.
And math teachers are pretty important because throughout your whole life, there is math everywhere: finance, work, home.
Exactly.
What advice would you give to those teachers that want to get into leadership positions?
I would tell them to just make sure that they're ready for it and that they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that if they have a passion for the classroom, it's a lot different to be here. Because I really do miss that teaching, and I wish I could really just teach like one class a week or something where I could keep that contact.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that'll happen. Who knows?
I mean, that a relating question I have here is, if you could start a new tradition at the school, what do you think you would want to start?
You know what? I think how they have field days for like a fun day in the spring.
Yes.
I don't know if we could work out the logistics of that thing, but I think that would be a really cool idea for us to do here.
Yeah, the students in middle schools, they carnival. They call it the carnival.
Carnival and fun days and spring days. We used to close off the whole block on Texas Avenue and use the park. We have enough open space here. I think we can pull it off. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, hopefully, I'm out. This is my last month, so I'm out. Hopefully, the next incoming
Yep.
seniors, freshmen, they will get to
Mm-hmm.
see it. So now let's get the some fun part about you. If
Okay.
you're so, I have some questions here. That one of them is, do you have a favorite song or anything like that? So if your office could have a theme song, what would you wanna pick?
I'm a big fan of Bob Marley. I like
Okay.
his reggae music, and I like to think of that mellow feeling in here playing, or maybe even the theme to Rocky. Because every day
Yeah.
I got to be ready.
Well, that's great. What's the funniest thing you've seen or heard as a VP so far?
The funniest thing I've seen, and which is going to happen tomorrow, is the boat races where they
Oh,
make boats
yes.
out of cardboard and then they race them. That
Oh,
is
that is
hilarious,
hilarious.
and,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to seeing that
I
tomorrow.
don't think. Did you see it last year?
I did, yeah, I was here.
Oh yeah, you were here
Hmm.
last year of January.
Yep,
You started. Yep,
yep,
that was very funny.
yes, it is.
Have you heard anything funny so far from students, like walking down the hallways?
You
Students
know what?
talking.
Kids are funny. Teachers are funny. The administrators I work with are always saying funny things, and I love to laugh. So yeah, I've heard lots of funny things. I can't think of anything that
Yeah.
in particular or something I'd be willing to share.
Okay. Do students still see you as the math teacher, or do they see you as Mr. VP? I mean, there's a lot of students from the
Yeah,
middle
you know
schools.
what? Right, my former
Yeah.
students, I think they still see me as the math teacher. As a matter of fact, one I just had to deal with on the way out to the buses, and I thought, I'm not even his vice principal, but he keeps coming to me,
Yeah.
because I was his teacher. But yeah, I think all the kids who I taught probably still see me as the
I
math
mean,
teacher.
that's also a good sign of, you knowing that you've done an amazing job in the past, and now those former students really believe in you. You made
Right,
an
they can
impact
come to
on
me and
them.
they know it. Yep.
If you could teach a fictional or made up subject, what would you want to teach besides math or anything like that?
Oh boy, a made up subject. Maybe some of them Harry Potter classes,
That
something
would be
like that,
very
some
funny.
magic class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Do you want to teach specifically the magic or the potions and all
I
those?
think the potions would probably be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That requires science. Are you
Yeah,
good with
yeah,
science?
sure. I love science. I could
Yeah.
teach anything.
That's amazing. What's your go to lunch or snack during a busy school day?
Ah, boy. Well, snacks. I make my own protein bars, which I have right there.
You make your
I
own?
make my own protein bars.
Wow.
I've been doing that for about 25 years.
Amazing.
It's cheaper. It tastes better,
Yeah.
and it's better for you.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to run down to Sacco's and Ventnor and pick up a sub or something.
Are you a coffee person?
Oh, of course. But only one a day. One cup a day in the morning, and that's it for me. Because if I drink it beyond that, I can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
But I do like coffee, yes.
That's great. If your school role was to be into a movie, what would you want to title it?
Oh boy, a school role into a movie.
I mean, you've been math teacher, now you're
I
VP.
know,
What?
I know.
Let's
The
combine it.
never-ending story, I guess.
The
I don't
what?
know. The never-ending story.
The never-ending
Yeah.
story. Seems like you want to continue this journey
Yeah,
forever.
as long as I can go, I'm going to keep going.
That's great. Is there a random skill or a hidden talent that your students or your coworkers may not know about?
Well, I'm a college football referee. Started out as a high school football referee. Then
Oh,
went
wow.
into college for the last 9 years. I've been in college, and I worked Division II. I worked the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference,
Yeah.
which is like Westchester, Millersville, East Stroudsburg. There's like 14 schools. So I don't know if that's a talent, but it's something
I
that
mean,
I don't think a lot of people know
yeah.
about me that I do in
I
the
didn't
fall.
know about it.
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to, because we had a couple students who played for Atlantic City High School who were going to be going and playing for those teams.
Wow.
So this fall, I'm hoping that I get their teams on my schedule. That'd be
Now, if you could kind of give a small breakdown of how you got into that referee field.
I like I told you before, I was coaching
Yeah.
here. I love football; it's my favorite thing. And I was watching a local high school game one day, and I saw somebody out there dressed in the uniform who I knew.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh wow, I didn't know you do this." And he said, "Well, come on out. We need people." And I was like, "Okay, I think I'd like to try that." And that was 20 years ago.
Amazing.
So, yep.
Does the referees usually have to keep going back and forth? Because I don't know much about the football referee, but I've seen basketball and the rest. But football is like a big thing. They have many referees, right?
Yeah. We have 6 of us out there at a time.
Wow.
Yep. And then, there's lots of running around, and that's why I like that I have a job where I have to run.
Yeah,
because it's good for me because I have to stay in shape because there is a lot of running.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position where if the quarterback comes to my side, I have to protect him by running with him.
Yeah.
And of course, the quarterbacks are faster than me, but I like to think that I can keep up with them. But it's a lot of over the course of a game's usually 3 hours. There is a lot of running involved, and so that certainly keeps me in shape.
Have there been a time, maybe during your game, maybe it doesn't have to be specifically you, but the referees got into an argument over a decision? I mean, I've seen it on shows and sometimes news even. There's referees arguing over one another.
Well, I don't know. We don't necessarily argue amongst ourselves.
Okay.
If we do, it's in the locker room at halftime or after the game. That has definitely happened. Or later on, because every week we watch the film of our games and we break it down, and we all live in different places. The guys who are on my crew live pretty much all around the East Coast.
Yeah.
So we'll do a Zoom meeting, or we'll create a spreadsheet that we can all write on, and we'll go over play by play what happened and whether it was the right call, whether it was the wrong call. But then, of course, you have the coaches on the sideline who are constantly, oh my goodness. Some of them, there's, you know who they are because I've been in it long enough to know the coaches. And there's one guy from Slippery Rock University, and every single play, I'm like, Coach, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
We can't be that bad.
Yeah.
But that's part of his thing. He likes to work the referees, try to get a call here and there.
Now, when there's a coach that complains about a referee, how does that work? Does the whoever the board people or whoever's in charge, do they investigate, or do they just...
Yeah, sure they do. We have people above us in our organization. We have managers above us.
Yeah.
And then they also, in their organization, they also have commissioners for their league.
Okay.
So the first thing that they'll do is they'll go to our boss, and they'll tell him, and what they do is they'll send in plays.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, look at this play. They made this wrong call. And then once a week, our organization has a video that comes out with all the questionable calls and whether it was the right call, whether it was the wrong call.
Yeah.
And if it gets to be really, like, there's something called targeting in football now, which is a hit to the head.
Okay.
And if you throw that flag, then it goes to the national commissioner of officials. And they either say, yes, it was a good call, or no, it wasn't a good call. Because of the concussions in football, they've made that a sort of a thing, a priority thing for us to make those calls when that head contact's made. But it's hard to do because it happens so fast.
Yeah.
But I've only had to do it a couple times, and all my calls were upheld. So.
Well, that's, I guess, something new to learn.
Yes, it is.
I didn't know about. I don't know about football much. I mean, I've seen the games, but I see referees moving around.
Yeah.
Does I've seen one referee. They usually have a mic on.
Yes.
Does all of them have a mic on?
No. Well, we all have a radio system amongst ourselves.
Okay.
Where we can talk to each other, but there's only one guy, and he wears the white hat.
Okay.
And he's the guy with the microphone.
Okay.
So if there is a penalty, he'll get on the microphone and explain, what the penalty was, or if there's some kind of clarification needed, he'll get on the microphone and explain what happened.
Coaches, they wear headphones.
Yes.
Who do they communicate with?
They communicate with the people. There's coaches who are on the field, and there's coaches who are up in the box.
Okay.
So even here, at Atlantic City High School, our stadium, we have a box, and there are guys up there who have a better view of the play. Because when you're on the field, you're looking at it this way. You can see what's going on, but you're missing a lot.
Yeah.
The guys up top can see pretty much everything, and they call down and talk about what's happening.
Oh, thank you for that information. Mm-hmm. I got to learn something new, because I always wondered. I went to that where our school made it to I believe it was not the Nationals, but
in the playoffs, the state playoffs.
Yeah, I was there, and that was an amazing game. And I saw the coaches, and I've seen it before too, but they wear those headphones. I'm like, are they communicating with one another? Because they're passing each other. What's the point of it? Or they communicate with the opposite team?
They're talking. No. They're not talking to the opposite team.
Okay.
They're only talking to the coaches on their staff who are up high.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings us to the last two questions. Is there a school trend or slang you still don't understand?
I don't understand most of it. When sometimes when students come in and they'll say, so and so is harassing me or whatever, and I have screenshots of text messages or social media posts, and I say okay, and I'll take a look at it, but then they have to interpret it for me because I have no idea what they're saying.
How are you with technology?
I love technology. I got my new Apple Watch on, my new
Amazing.
iPhone 16. I love technology. I love social media, but I think for high school students, it is horrific. I think it's terrible. It's the cause of the majority of our problems is social media.
Yeah.
I think it's a great tool, and I think that just watching technology...
It just got to be used the right way.
Exactly. It's social media. It's for you and your friends to talk.
Social.
Not, not to get in and make fun of each other or say this one said that and this one said that.
Yeah.
I've watched technology grow over the years. I had this type of phone, the dial rotor phone in my house when I was a kid, and then all of a sudden to watch technology grow, it's amazing. So when you're my age, who knows what it's going to be like?
Wow. What about the short words that nowadays students make, like LOL and
that's it. That's it. And I have to ask, what is this? Those little 3-letter and 4-letter things. I don't know what they mean. Or I Google them and say, what does this mean?
And sometimes there's different meanings. You got to be specific when you Google as well.
Yep. So one other thing I forgot to mention, about 15 years ago, a friend of mine who I taught with at Texas Avenue, she was the computer teacher. And I think at the time, I think I was third grade when I was just starting there. But podcasting was a brand new thing, and we decided that we were going to start our own podcast.
Yeah.
So we would go, and she had this little office, and it was like an old, because that school was over 100 years old, and we were in this little tiny room, and we had 2 microphones and a computer, and we had some bullet points about what we were going to talk about, and we just started talking and recording what whatever we were the subjects were, and then I would go on and use iMovie to sort of edit it. And then but one time it was, and actually what we also did was I paid a company to do like an introduction. So they had like a music intro, and then some woman would say, "And welcome to the Teacher's Lounge."
Wow.
And then so we would go on.
So you had your own podcast.
Yeah, we had our own podcast. It was on iTunes, or what's it called?
Apple iTunes. Yeah.
iTunes, right? That's what it's called. It was on iTunes. It was available. We didn't have many downloads, but we still did it. And then one of our best podcasts, which was our final podcast, we had so much good content, but then I got into iMovie, and I think I was rushing too much, but I ended up really mixing it up and cutting it to pieces, and then it fell apart, and that was kind of our last one. But it was fun. We were one of the original podcasters.
You lost your whole podcast?
Lost it. Well, it was there, but it was so chopped up.
Was it temporary, or were you going to continue it if you had it?
I think that we would have kept going, but that one, it was good, and we were excited about it. And then as I was editing it, and it started to fall apart, and I tried to get it back, but then ended up having so many different layers, and then I just gave up. And that was the end of my podcast career. But now here I am, so I'm glad to be back.
Well, I'm here to be, kind of give you a little highlight back to your own.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's bring us to the last question. This would be maybe funny. If you had a superhero power to use at the school, what would you choose and why?
I think I'd like to be able to clone myself, because then I can send myself to different places to get different things done. That way I won't have to walk all over the place. Or I'd like to be invisible and kind of sneak up on people and hear what they're saying.
That would be nice.
Yep.
That would be great. Well, you did give us some advice earlier, but we would like to hear some advice as a VP to a student for future decisions, future, life.
My best advice would be that whenever you find work, that you love what you do.
Yeah.
Because if you love what you do, then you're not really working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, I love Fridays, but I also love Mondays. Fridays into the weekend, Mondays the school week starts.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. And that is just a huge part of life. I can't imagine waking up on a Monday morning and dreading going to work. And unfortunately, a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
So I would just tell you and anybody else that whatever you find and whatever you end up doing, make sure you love it, because otherwise, no amount of money in the world can make it worth going to work and being miserable.
Thank you for that advice. That means a lot. I appreciate giving me your time, Mr. Fetter.
Absolutely. I'm glad you did this. This is awesome.
I really appreciate it because you have a leadership position, and you might have to do meetings and stuff here and there, handle things, have tasks to do, because just because you're a VP doesn't mean you're free.
Right.
So I really appreciate it. That would do it for this episode, everyone. We have a few other people scheduled with us for Breaking Shan podcast, and that would be awesome. So until then, stay curious, stay kind, and have an amazing day.